my name is Kristen, and I'm going to be talking to you today about an educator and an activist named Mary Jane McLeod Bethune. So like I said, she was an educator and an activist. So a little bit background on her story. Bethune was born in 1875 to former slave parents. So her parents were slaves. Before she was born, she was the 15th sibling born to her family. There were 17 siblings total, and her family had a farm, and they harvested cotton, and they all worked on the farm. A school was then open for black girls, and she decided to go. So she herself walked 8 miles to and from all by herself to school each and every day. And then she came home and she taught her family then. So her first role as an educator became when she taught her own family the things that she was learning at school. Her goal was to become a missionary, but there was not a church that would sponsor her. So then she decided to change her profession to education. She did end up getting married, and they had a son together, but then later on she divorced, and her husband then passed away a few years after that. So her education, so she opened a school, boarding school called the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute for Negro Girls. At this school, they had nothing. She literally built their desks for them. They made their own pencils, and they even made their own ink by burning some kind of oil. Quite remarkable to learn about. At the very beginning, she only had 5 girls and then 1 son. Her son, Albert, went to school there too. It grew to be as big as 250 students, and then it merged with a boys' school, and it became the Bethune-Cookman College. And she was one of the few female college presidents at that time, which was pretty darn cool. She taught for about 10 years. Some of the things that she did is she fought for black colleges to allow the African American students to attend a civilian pilot training program. And the success of the program was that there were several graduates of the program, so that was pretty cool that she helped them be able to do it and be successful. She also educated black men so that they were able to work in the plants during World War II. And so she was always educating, teaching, fighting for the rights of her students, and both on racial and gender equality, and this led to her leadership in the rights of women. So some women rights, the National Association of Colored Women, NACW, she was the president of that chapter from 1917 to 1925, and her purpose and her goal was to help fight for racial discrimination and segregation in the federal government. She then left this and founded her own organization called the National Council of Negro Women, NCNW, and she was threatened by a lot of people and a lot of reasons for her to quit, including the KKK, and she decided she didn't let that stop her. She kept on cruising. A part of that foundation, she became friends with the First Lady at the time, Eleanor Roosevelt, and her friend Eleanor helped her create this organization. So that was pretty cool. So, you know, when you're best friends with the First Lady, there's a lot of benefits, which was pretty remarkable for me to read about and to learn about. So she was ranked the highest ranked African American woman in the federal government by FDR, which was a huge accomplishment at this day and age. She was a member of FDR's Black Cabinet, and this group helped give advice to members of the Black community so that he had knowledge, so that FDR had knowledge of the Black community. So along with women's rights, FDR also named her the Director of Negro Affairs. So she's had a lot of important roles in higher level. So not just a woman, fighting and doing these things for her people. She was doing them at a high level, which is unheard of at this time. So she fought for equality. Her activism was partly inspired and contributed to the efforts of the Montgomery bus boycott, which unfortunately began after she died of a heart attack. So she didn't get to see the benefits of that. But she did get to see the benefits of Brown versus Board of Education. So that was pretty cool that she could see the results of that. There was a symbolic statue that's pictured here of her and two small children, and there's words of advice and hope that are written underneath the statue, because that's kind of what she fought for. Is she just wanted to lead the next generation forward. So this statue is in our nation's capital, and it is one of the first statues recognizing an African American leader. And here are my online resources. It was very fun to learn about Mary Jane McLeod Bethune, and I hope you enjoyed as well.